Good morning. Welcome to Viewpoint, your program of personalities, politicians, and perspectives. Well, thank goodness we don't have to listen to politicians anymore.
Oh, no, we're going to start a new series of ads tomorrow.
On the other hand, Jim, your revenue source is dried up. I just asked Mr. Ash, and he informs me we had slightly over 55% of the populace voting on an off year. I suppose conventional wisdom being what it is, that's to be accepted as very good. And yet, at the same time, I find it really amazing in this country that we can only turn up from 20 to 30 and 55% is high. The greatest privilege in the world, and half the populace can't find the time to go vote for their candidate, whomever they are. So that's my commentary on that. Anyway, kudos to the voters who did show up. And a special kudos this morning, Judith K., by your leave, Kirby Rogers, current retired school administrator and current president of the Rotary Club. He has embarked on, along with some help, some committee members, on a program called Hometown Heroes. We've talked about that before. Kirby was up and visited with us here on Viewpoint. And that is, essentially, we're going to put banners around the courthouse square with the pictures of the hometown hero, the soldier, with a little bit about them. And he has a committee working real hard on that. And I'd just like to recognize Carrie Pethy, Jim Harnicky, Marine Corps League. Boy, they do a lot of good things around here. Kirby, Don Jordan, Lincoln Rotary, and Ron Keller, our alderman. Those folks have been working on this program, and we're about to bring it to fruition. Kirby's been able to gather some money. The essence of it is that if somebody like Jim Ash, and he served nobly in the military services, some of his family or friends, if he has any friends like that, would spend $50 to put his picture on the on those posts around the courthouse, honoring local men and ladies who have served our military. It's a nice program, and Kirby, thank you very much for that. That's a real neat thing. You've kind of born a pretty good idea there, and you had a nice group working with you. Judith K., we're here to talk about education.
Yes.
Why don't you introduce our nice guest?
I'd like to do that. Dr. Jonathan Pierce is with Lincoln College, and he is the chair of the business department. And they have a new idea at Lincoln College in the business department that I think is absolutely brilliant. And Dr. Pierce will explain it all to us and how it works. Really, this could be a boon, even more so to adult students than to the traditional college-age students. So explain to us what the business department is going to offer, if you will, along the lines of the MBA.
Sure. Thank you for having me on the program, first of all. Great to see you both this morning. We are embarking on some new ventures for the business division and the college as a whole. We're undergoing some feasibility studies for several new master's degrees that we hope to launch in the fall of 2019. For the business division, we have a Master's of Business Administration with concentrations in marketing, finance, and organizational leadership. Now, that's your run-of-the-mill traditional MBA program that is heavy on finance and quantitative analysis, and it provides both our traditional students and our adult accelerated students, our non-traditional at the normal campus, an opportunity to continue their education as well. We're also running a feasibility study for a Master of Science in Organizational Leadership, and that program is not nearly as heavy in the quantitative side, and so that'll be real attractive to students who go into degrees that aren't finance and numbers driven by nature. So the programs on campus in Lincoln, as well as some of our other programs in Normal, would naturally feed into that. So we're really excited about this new venture. It has to go through the academic committee and get approval from the faculty, approval from the president's cabinet, as well as the trustees. Once that happens, then the programs go to our accrediting body, Higher Learning Commission, and if they approve it after a site visit in the spring, we'll be authorized to offer them starting the fall of 2019. So this is a great opportunity for us, and it's just along the lines of returning Lincoln College to its original roots as Lincoln University. We were chartered as a university in 1865, named after Abraham Lincoln while he was still living. And so from the time of the Depression era till now, we've been known as Lincoln College, and this is our chance to go back to our original roots and offer master's degrees again. So,
You know, I've never been involved in education, but to me, this idea is so brilliant that I can't imagine why you'd have any trouble getting it through any of the separate bodies who would have to be putting their John Henry on it.
You know, and that's an interesting question. Traditionally, new programs are developed as an initiative from the faculty. We have what's called a shared governance body within Lincoln College, and a lot of institutions are like that, where faculty, in a sense, own the curriculum, and it's from the faculty that new programs are developed. They're the ones that bring new programs to the front, and we start working on them. So it starts at the faculty level. We vet the programs, we discuss them thoroughly, we align our learning outcomes, and we figure out what the curriculum is going to be. And once it's all approved, it just goes on through the line of approval processes. But the accreditation piece is one that's the most important and the most critical. We cannot even begin to advertise or promote or recruit for those programs until our accrediting body has put a stamp of approval and said, you're approved to offer this. So because we haven't offered degrees, master's degrees, since probably the 1920s, we have to go through a pretty significant authorization process. They'll have what's called a site visit, where officials will come to campus for several days to talk to the president's cabinet, talk to faculty, other individuals, and assess the viability of us offering master's degrees and whether it makes sense. So part of the feasibility study is to determine, is it feasible? From a financial perspective, from an enrollment, perhaps even from growth and expansion perspective, is it feasible for us to offer it? So that's kind of the process that we have to go through, and it's real typical of just about every institution as well.
You know, it's amazing, Judith and Jim and Doctor, and both of you out there listening.
The both ones.
The both of you. The importance of Lincoln College to this community down through the years. Those that are my age, and a few of us still left, remember when it was a good two-year institution, AA degrees, and in those times, in the 30s, and then even initially during the wartime, most of the students, or many of them, went north to Normal University as opposed to ISU, and to become teachers. And that was kind of a commonality that ran through the kids on campus at that time. Thanks to the perseverance of C.A. Bailoff, who made you grind a pencil 3 times before you turned it in for a new one. He was remarkable. And he and Annalie Bailoff, a history teacher out there, were kind of instrumental. Some other dedicated teachers. Those folks, you know, they got paid in nickels and dimes, for goodness sakes, and not many dimes. So due to the dedication of people like that, who were very altruistic in making sure that the students had an opportunity to move along. And here we are, here in 2018, are talking about making us a four-year university, and we have in many disciplines now, and going to be called Lincoln University as opposed to Lincoln College. It's kind of an exciting thing.
It really is exciting, and you touched on a really important facet of the culture at Lincoln College when you're talking about some previous instructors as well. This is my fourth year there, and one of the things that drew me to the college is the culture. There are a significant number of people who are caring, collaborative, wonderful people who care about the institution, care for each other, and really want to make it, see the college grow. They really want to see it expand. And this small community of highly engaged, highly collaborative people really makes a difference. There's no secret that the college has struggled in years past, but we're on this new venture that the president put us on a path for, expanding our baccalaureate programs. We now have 12 bachelor's degrees. We're looking into 2 additional bachelor's degrees as well, one a Bachelor of Arts in Law and another Bachelor of Science in Marketing. So that'll bring our bachelor degrees up to 14. But the whole emphasis here is really mission-driven. Lincoln College's mission is to uniquely empower students to realize their full potential. That mission drives every decision that we make. Everything that we do is about empowering students to realize their full potential. So a lot of our students come from disadvantaged backgrounds or are unprepared coming out of high school, and this may be their final option for college, their last option. And oftentimes Lincoln College is known as the college of second chances. Maybe they tried somewhere else and didn't do well, and because of our small class sizes and other resources that we bring to bear for these students, we can help them succeed if they want to. The key is the student has to want to succeed. If they have that desire and it's innate in their being, we'll help them. We'll help them succeed. And we have just stories after stories of individuals who came through Lincoln College decades ago and ended up being a huge success. And I'll have to draw attention to Mr. Sandy MacKinnon, who is a graduate, I believe, from 1960, class of 1960 or 61. He indicated that he struggled when he was here at school. It just wasn't the right time for him, but he made it through. He went on to be a very successful businessman in Florida with a heavy equipment distributorship there. Went on to get some really important awards for integrity and high business ethics. And he just recently donated $1 million to the college, and we were fortunate that he allowed us to name the MacKinnon School of Business after him. So we're just on the cusp of some really exciting new ventures, but it's all based on that mission of really trying to help disadvantaged and students who need that extra help, need the extra attention, helping them get through. And thinking back to even to your experience, Bill, this seems to be a fundamental part of what Lincoln College has done for so many years now.
Our staff, and I will include our physical plant services, I'll include the folks in the food preparation services. We have a dedicated group, and our staff as a whole is interested in these kids. And it's just not another, you can talk with your instructors, it's just not a job with them. It's a challenge for them to do the best they can to bring the best they can out of the students. And that's what I call dedication.
Yeah.
Now, Division Chair of the MacKinnon School of Business. Tell us a little bit about the curricula there, sir.
So within the business division, we have a number of programs, some that are located on the normal campus and some that are in Lincoln. So we have, I believe, 7 overall. We have entrepreneurship, 2 degrees in organizational leadership, Bachelor of Business Administration, sport management, and health services administration. So those are operating across the campus. In Lincoln, we have sport management, organizational leadership, and business administration. And those in Lincoln are for traditional students. So it's daytime classes, your traditional age student between 18 to 20 years old, things of that nature. On the normal campus, that location is exclusively for non-traditional students, and I call them adults. Even some of our traditional students are adults, of course, but these are individuals that work full-time, have other responsibilities during the day that prevents them from going to school during daytime hours. So in our accelerated program that's called ABE, Accelerated Bridge to Education, and yes, we borrow our namesake's name, absolutely.
And why not?
And why not, exactly. But that program is designed for working adults who have a lot of competing responsibilities, family, work, hobbies, sports for the kids, or even parents that they're caring for. So these classes are held at night, usually from 5:30 to 9:30 or 6 to 9, depending on the modality. But it makes it possible for adults to get a college education. Many of them started at a young age but didn't finish college. Some of them didn't go to college at all, and they're coming back from ground zero trying to get a bachelor's degree. So that program is really uniquely designed for that working adult who has so many other competing interests in trying to get a college degree. Oftentimes we find that individuals, particularly those that are working for State Farm, they might already be in a supervisory leadership capacity, but in order to advance and be promoted, they need a bachelor's degree. So they come to us, they pick the program that's suitable for them and get their degree, and then they're able to get a promotion within their organization.
And with many, they have a bachelor's degree, but they have to have a master's degree. Sometimes to have a bachelor's would be like my having a high school diploma. And so you have to think about going on and bettering yourself and getting a higher degree. Now you're going to be offering that.
It's really true. Decades ago, a high school degree was sufficient to get a career. In a manufacturing environment, to work 40 years at a factory or whatever it may be. Nowadays, today's bachelor's degree is like yesterday's high school diploma. Today's master's degree is yesterday's bachelor's degree. So we're seeing a lot of movement in that direction to where most organizations still recognize bachelor's degrees and they view them as valuable and important. But we're also finding that organizations that hire people perhaps of a higher capacity, they're going to need a master's degree, and especially to move into leadership capacity, they're expecting them to have that additional credential. So that is true. We'll kind of see that transition.
And this is same old, an MBA from Lincoln College, one day to be Lincoln University possibly, is an MBA. Just like it would be from any other learning institution, right?
It is. We are writing that program to be rigorous, to be as good as any other institution out there, but we're going to tie in some a little interesting facet that might differentiate ours a little bit because of the tie-in with Mr. MacKinnon and the awards that he received for integrity and business ethics. We're going to embed in our program a requirement that students focus on high integrity and high business ethics, and as they navigate through the program and the curriculum and writing their papers or working on the projects, that's going to be an embedded component throughout it because we want to honor what he's done.
Of course.
Not only in business, but what he's done for Lincoln College as well.
Besides that, in this world, we have a crying need for ethics.
Oh, absolutely. So just about every week, turn on the news and there's another company.
Every day, my dear.
Yes, every day. Whether it be harassment of various sorts or impropriety of finances or whatever it may be, our country needs good leaders that have high values and morals and that operate with high integrity. And that's what we want to do, is build this population of students that come out with that mindset.
Yes.
I certainly don't want to make light of that term harassment, but on a lighter note, our sponsors will harass us if we don't give them a little time on the air right now. Go right ahead, Mr. H. And having paid our homage to our sponsors, whom we appreciate very much, right back live in the studios here at WLCN. Our guest this morning is Dr. Jonathan Pierce, Division Chair of the MacKinnon School of Business at Lincoln College. When you think of Lincoln College, and really all other colleges, you think of youngsters out of high school and moving on. Lincoln College has a significant number of adult students, particularly in the ABE program. Started, I think, up on the normal campus. That's where we got our first toehold in that. I've sat on the platform now for many years, as watching it at commencement time, and Judith, I see these adult students come across, some, near 50, or maybe over, and you have to sit there and think, what a great deal of satisfaction that is to them, to have made that extra step. Number one, they had to be motivated to get off the starting point and do that. But I see people come across there, and you just sit back and say, boy, good for them. And that's what we do at Lincoln College. We educate an amazing number of senior citizens, being 35 and up.
That's not very senior.
No, seriously, that's an important mission that we have embarked on, and it's a great opportunity for people who are already out in the workplace to get out and move along a little bit in their educational
I think an MBA is kind of self-explanatory. But would you deal for a moment, please, with science and organizational leadership? And tell me what that involves, please, and thank you.
Sure.
We go off the air at 10:15.
We'll make this brief. Master of Science in Organizational Leadership, as we've just talked about a few moments ago, our nation is crying for good leaders across organizations and across other institutions as well. Leadership is embedded in everything, in every company, every corporation, every organization, whether it's for-profit or not-for-profit, religious, whatever it may be. And so we envision this degree facilitating a learning environment where students learn the skills of leadership in a variety of different types of organizations. The MBA clearly focuses on the language of business, which is numbers and finance and bean counting, right? Bean counting, yeah. But a Master of Science in Organizational Leadership takes students through a curriculum that teaches them critical thinking skills, conflict management skills, how to work with group dynamics, how to motivate people, how to deal with individuals who are having issues with work-life balance, or whatever it may be along those lines. So it prepares them for a broader scope of learning in terms of being able to lead people within organizations. And a lot of companies will tout that people, their employees, are their number one asset, right? Even in Lincoln College's charter, it states that the trustees view Lincoln College's employees as their number one asset. If that's the case, then we need leaders throughout organizations that effectively manage their number one asset. And this is what the degree will do, is prepare students for leadership in a variety of types of organizations.
And you may not think of yourself as a leader, but if you have kids, if you have neighbors, if you have associates in any area of your life, there could be somebody in there who's looking to you to show them a better way to do something. So we could all use a course like that, really.
Oh, absolutely. And it's really applicable to those who want to go into a supervisory or management role. It's also applicable to somebody who is already in that position. And Bill, as you mentioned, with our non-traditional adult students, many of them are already working in that kind of environment. And so what we find in the classroom is we do a lot of collaborative work in the classroom. It's not just 4 hours of lecture. They would get bored listening to me for 4 hours, but We engage students to bring to bear what they already know and do in their workplace. And so as we're talking about leadership theories or management theories or theories of organizational behavior, we have students talk to us about their work environment. And then as faculty, we share with them details about the theories themselves. So it's kind of an aha moment. What students typically say is, I already do that, but now I know what it's called, right?
Yeah.
And that's real typical of these accelerated classes, in that students learn the theories and the academic side of a specified area of study or a discipline. So,
You mentioned early on, Doctor, about the student. You gotta wanna.
Yes.
In order for anything to work.
Mm-hmm.
Can you bring that to the students? Can you show them the way that this is going to benefit them, so that they do wanna?
We do. Especially for our traditional students, we have a freshman seminar course that all freshmen are required to take. And if I could boil it down, the course really is designed to help students navigate through that first semester of college. What is it like to be a college student? What are the expectations? What are the skills that are needed? And we facilitate an entire semester course for them. But again, we're teaching them college skills that we hope they would come with, but oftentimes they don't come prepared with that. Many of our students are first-time generation students in college. Their
Right.
parents, their families, or siblings have not gone.
No, right.
And so, it is a big transition from high school to college. It's a whole different mindset.
Well, and you're talking about 17, 18-year-old kids, and the range of maturity in a group like that has got to be pretty vast.
It is, and we've really noticed a big difference now that we've been offering baccalaureate degrees. We're in the third year of bachelor degrees now. Now that we have juniors and seniors on campus, we're seeing a vast difference in maturity. Mm-hmm. But that's been a real positive, because those students who successfully navigated through the associate's degree that freshman-sophomore year, went into their bachelor programs, are now mentoring those other students, and they're serving as role models. And so having the two populations on campus has really made a big difference, and I think we're going to see that continue as we grow.
And speaking of mentoring, that's a major part of what we do here at Lincoln. We have adults whose specialty is helping youngsters, and so we have available on campus a mentoring time for youngsters who need that little extra help. Be it a shoulder push or a pulling out of their potential. So we have people out there who mentor kids, trying to get their academics moved up a little bit, and that's a very important thing.
That's one of the critical facets of being able to help these students, is having the right resources within the college to help these students. So in our Academic Success Center, we have a number of professionals, well-trained professionals and credentialed professionals who know how to help students with their study skills, or who may need some help with writing their essays, or with math, or whatever the discipline may be. We have a number of tutors that are available throughout the day for students that need the extra help. But the key point is they have to want to seek out the help. If they want to, the resources are there. We do go knocking on doors, in a sense, and seek out the poor-performing student. We don't just let them flounder, but ultimately, it's up to the student. They need to have to want to do it. And sometimes it's helping the students realize what potential is out there if they put in that extra effort. So part of that mentoring process is just teaching them about life, and the fact that a college degree is going to be critical for their career path, for picking a first job and getting into employment that's going to help support themselves. So the college basically pulls out all the stops for these students that need help. And faculty also get involved with tutoring students one-on-one and spending extra time outside of the class. So it's not just a 50-minute class and then we send them on their way. We find them, a lot of faculty spend one-on-one time with students outside of class as well, helping them understand the curriculum and assignments and what's required. So that's an embedded part of what the college does, is helping students realize that their full potential and bringing to bear those other resources that they need.
You know, though, a smaller school like Lincoln College has advantages because at the U of I, those teachers wouldn't know any of those kids in their room. They wouldn't be individual students. They'd be one of the mass, you know. And at Lincoln College, you're a real person, not just student number 63. And that's certainly got to be advantageous, especially for the kids at one end of the spectrum as far as maturity is concerned.
Absolutely, and I don't want to compare ourselves to other institutions, but a classroom of 20 students can be facilitated vastly differently than a classroom of 120. There's just no time for the faculty member to have a one-on-one relationship with 120 students. It's impossible. So that's one of the unique things that we tout and we promote, is our classroom sizes are typically smaller. And by virtue of the small environment, we have opportunities for more one-on-one collaboration with the student. We also have opportunities to do things that couldn't be done in a larger institution. Let me just give you an example. There's an older building on our campus that it's called the Adams Art Studio. It's been vacant for years and it's obsolete, can't be utilized. Well, one of our students approached our business faculty, Dr. Diana Bivona, and asked if he could do a project perhaps to revitalize that building and make it into a campus coffee house. Okay, now with Dr. Bivona and with this student, we started asking questions to administration. Would you allow us to do a study and do an entrepreneurship study in terms of converting that building? We don't expect the administration to commit to whatever this plan is going to be, but at least allow the student to go through the learning experience.
Wow.
As a second component of that, and unbeknownst to us business faculty, our jazz study lead faculty started talking to her student about converting that same building into like a little jazz studio where they could have musicians play. And now we're collaborating to make it a combined effort. A little coffee shop with a little jazz studio. How cool is that?
Yeah,
right?
really.
Exactly.
This kid who started this thought process, his parents are in construction, so it's quite possible that they're going to do the work for free. So we're taking this far beyond just a classroom opportunity to learn, and we're really bordering on the possibility of making this a reality. Now, you don't have that. No. In a class of 120 students. You don't have that personalized touch. Now, this is a very unique opportunity, but there's flexibility in a small class environment. We can take individualized student interest and help them hone those skills and find opportunities that are going to help them learn and apply what they're being exposed to in the classroom.
And applying Lincoln College to the local business community, Doctor, you have and Dr. Bivona have, in the college, formed a study committee that's inclusive of local employees of factories and so forth and businesses. Can you tell us a little bit about that advisory committee, sir?
Sure. One of the responsibilities that I was charged with, I believe it was during my second year here, is to develop and set up an advisory board of individuals who work in the community. So business leaders, managers of departments, even business owners. And so through people that I knew, and on occasion I'll invite guest speakers to come into my classes. People from business leaders from the community come and just share their insights on a particular topic. And through some of these connections that I've had, I've reached out to about 6 individuals throughout the Lincoln community who are on my advisory board. So we meet once each semester. And Judy, we are so fortunate to have Cass Busby as part of our committee as well, our advisory board. And
Thank you.
she and others have just been very instrumental in giving us insights as to how we can improve our Bachelor of Business Management program. So oftentimes, inside the academic field, we get tunnel visioned. We don't know exactly what business leaders want from students, from graduates. And just as an example of an initiative that our advisory board promoted is to start a course that focuses exclusively on Microsoft Office Suite. Okay. As Cass indicated, and others did as well, many students come out of college and they don't have those computer skills. Microsoft Excel, Access, Word, Outlook, and PowerPoint. And those are just basic functions of just about any business. And so we vetted the course through the division, and we got approval from the academic committee, and we started offering it as a required course in the Bachelor of Business Administration program. Now, in the future, we also intend to embed this as a required course for every student, not just in the business division, because anybody who graduates with a bachelor's degree and goes into whatever organization, more than likely they're going to have computers and computer systems and office technologies that they'll need to understand. They may be asked to facilitate presentations. So for those reasons, we feel this is a really critical component. So the advisory board is very instrumental in helping us identify flaws or weaknesses in the program and how we can improve them, how to make connections, and they've just been invaluable for us in that respect.
But it seems so obvious that it would be practical to take advantage of people such as you're talking about here. It seems so obvious, but so many times they overlook that, and so it'd be like me coming to tell you about something that I maybe understand because I did it for 79 years, but it's just no good to you.
Right.
So to go to the horse's mouth, that's pretty innovative.
It is.
Well, this committee of which we speak now, that in particularly in a small community like we enjoy here in Lincoln, that helps cement what was the old phrase town and gown relationship, because the college, our educational facility, is interacting with business leaders in the community, and that can do nothing but good as far as the town and the gown are concerned.
Absolutely. And just to touch on that point further, through Cass Busby, of course, she works for Eaton Corporation in Lincoln. She informed us, I believe it was in one of our meetings last year, that she has internship opportunities at Eaton. I had no clue. I had no idea. I mean, I know that Eaton is a global organization,
Right.
but she has internship opportunities. So now here's another opportunity for us to take our young classroom student and give them real-world experience as part of the curriculum. Whether it's for credit, that's one option, or not for credit and just a learning experience.
Yeah.
That's something a student can put on their resume as real-world practical experience towards gaining, a full-time employment opportunity. And of course, the internship could definitely lead to full-time employment as
bet.
well. Not only Eaton here in Lincoln, but elsewhere.
Yeah, right.
So employees, and by the way, Eaton is a tremendous influence in our community. They do so many good things for us here. Employers like Eaton and the other smaller businesses, they certainly must appreciate the efforts that you're putting forth, Lincoln College is putting forth, in order to integrate the various programs with the businesses in the area.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention integrity data as well.
Oh, by all
They
means.
have also,
Thank you for mentioning that.
They have also reached out to us and offered internships. And a couple of years ago, actually my first year here, Silas Kimball, one of our Bachelor of Business students, had an internship with Dave Moravec at Integrity Data. And it was a phenomenal learning experience for the student. And, we appreciate those connections, and they're vital to our success. We don't succeed in a vacuum. We succeed only to the degree that we're reaching out and collaborating with those around us.
But you're not just born with the knowledge that Eaton offers internships, and Integrity Data offers internships. That's not something you come with, you know? You've got to be told these things and to know these things, and that's so important. Now here you're saying that this can be a real opportunity, either of these companies, for your students. Well, thank God somebody told you, you know, you can do this.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you mentioned Patrick Doolan and,
Yes.
and Integrity Data. They again, they're not big on the scene. You don't hear a lot about them, but boy, they do contribute a whole lot to our community. So we appreciate your mentioning that.
And Patrick is a very nice person.
Well, his wife thinks
Into the
so.
bargain.
He's also on the board of trustees, so we're just going to say favorable things about him across the board.
Yes.
Yeah, as we begin, boy, the clock's moving too fast, Mr. Ash. I'll talk to you about that. As we wind down, do you have any comments that you'd like to close with, Dr. Pierce?
Well, one of the things that we're looking into is building an international program exposure. So Dr. Shabazz, who is the Vice President for Academic
Yes.
Affairs, and I will be traveling to China and India between December 9th and December 23rd. And our intent is to reach out to institutions in those areas to collaborate with other colleges and universities. So either faculty exchanges where we could bring their faculty to here, or our faculty could go there and teach periodically, or exchanging students as well. Let them start the equivalent associate's degree in China and then come to Lincoln College and get their baccalaureate degree here. We're working with a colleague from my previous institution who recruits Chinese students. So we're hoping to expand our exposure, and through contacts that Dr. Shabazz has in India as well, we hope to get 10 or 20 international students from those areas by fall of 19. So this is one area that we have to improve in, and we have to expand it, is opening up our programs to the international market as well. So we're real excited about
There's
that.
a spin-off on that. It occurs to me, and that's a very simple spin-off of me, exposing our traditional students to another culture. And it appears, this seems to me that would be a real advantage to.
It absolutely is. I mean, in today's business environment, it's global. Business is a global phenomenon, and students who graduate with a degree in business need to be aware of the differences in how organizations operate across the world. Cultures are different, business practices, and I'm even starting to learn how the Chinese customs are and what I need to do as I prepare for these meetings with Chinese officials. There are specific customs I need to get accustomed to. So I'm still learning, but this is clearly something we have to prepare our students
Well,
for.
you got a good fellow working on it with you, Dr. Shabazz.
Yes,
He's a heck of an asset to the college.
absolutely.
Dr. Jonathan Pierce, Division Chair at Lincoln College, we appreciate your taking your time. We had a heck of a time trying to get together to even talk about this, so Judy know how doggone busy you are. So we appreciate the fact you take some time to come up and tell us about the very, very important part of Lincoln College and what it can mean and does mean to our community. And we're talking about degrees, various degrees, economics degrees, social degrees, so forth. I found this expression about degrees. Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Now, he was a fellow before your time.
No, he was a neighbor.
Okay, all right. Common sense is an uncommon degree, is what that word is called, wisdom. Dr. Pierce, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.